자, 안녕하세요. 더해드립니다. 오늘 할 게임은 이제 스탠리 패러블이라는 게임이고요. 옛날부터 알고 있던 게임인데 무슨 울트라 디럭스인가? 하면서 무슨 패치 같은 걸 했다 그래서 하려고 구매를 해놨다가 이제 지금 현재 플레이를 하려고 합니다. 참고로 좀 말하자면 한글 패치를 하려고 하는데 한글 패치가 조금 이게 좀 많은 얘기가 좀 많더라고요. 그래서 현재 지금 제가 하고 있는 버전은 과거 버전이에요. 옛날 버전. 왜 옛날 버전이냐? 현재 버전에서 한글 패치가 적용이 안 돼요. 그래서 이제 구버전을 다운로드해서 가져와서 지금 현재 플레이를 하는 겁니다. 자, 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 씨발 스킵해버렸어.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi.
참고로 저는 이 게임을
In all his years at the company,
한 번도 본 적 없어요. 내가 직접 플레이하려고 진짜 하나도 안 봤어.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
뭐야? 참고로 진행은 패드로 하고 있습니다. 싫어요. 뭐야? 파티션? 일단 지금 키 자체는 되게 단순해요, 지금. LB를 누르면 앉고요. 이제 A키가 많은 것 같아요. 이거 월요일 싫어요, 혹시 이거? 맞네, 월요일 싫어. 나가봅시다. 응? 책상을 누르는데 왜 그 소리가 나? 그리고 이거 치아 움직이는 게 왜 이렇게...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
뭘까요?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
아, 답답했는데. 아, 예. 답답했어요, 사실.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
자, 지금 나레이션이 저한테 쿠사리 걸었죠? 스탠리가 지금 뭔가 상호작용이 있나 하고 막 눌러보고 있는데 얘기가 진행 안 된다. 이렇게 해야죠. 늦으시죠? 나는 이거 점프도 없어 이게. 아 맞다, 나 그거 안 없앴다. 잠시만요. 자막 안 없앴다. 야. 그리고 채팅창을 조금 살짝 적게 만들게요. 이거 내 방 아니야? 이거 누르는데 왜 키보드 소리가 왜 나? 이게 그것도 있다. 조준적 내 사랑이 되어줘. 너는 뭐라 돼 있니? 연료? 커피구나. 누가 방귀 뀌었어? 반응은 없네요. 월요일이라 연료? 근데 여기서부터 반응 되는 게 없는데?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
왼쪽으로? 아, 난
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
아, 그러면 왼쪽으로 다시 갈 수 있게 문을 열어두던가. 아, 당연히 나는 왼쪽으로 가라니까 오른쪽으로 가야 되는 그런 함정인 줄 알았지, 나는.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
주기 싫은데 음료수 좀 마시자.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
이 새끼가 개 코살이 오지게 주네? 너 지금 동료 사라졌는데.
And his obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
아, 몰라.
Possible that
아, 저 컵에다 물 좀 받아올게요. 아, 몰라. 나 컵에 물 좀 받아올게.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
혹시 또 뭐라고 쿠사리 줬어요? 나 메론빵까지 가져왔는데? 나 빵까지 들고 왔는데. 또 얘도 쿠사리 줬어? 아, 휴게실이잖아. 아, 줬어요? 가만히 있는데도 뭐라 그랬어요? 빈둥거린데요? 아, 우리 좀 얘기 좀 할까요? 자, 휴게실인데 저 메론빵 가져왔는데 얘기 좀 할까요? 자, 진행할게요. 메론빵 무쳐 먹을까? 먹고 얘기 좀 할까? 우리? 아, 진짜 메론빵 먹을까? 라라라라 라라라라라 라라라라라 라라 라라 라라. 사실 소보로빵도 있는데요. 소보로빵 그거 있는 것 같아. 소보로빵 옛날에 비해서 뭔가 좀 살짝 작아진 것 같아요. 아, 뭔가 옛날 소보로빵 느낌이 안 나. 진짜 옛날 소보로빵 느낌이 아니에요. 그러니까 맛은 그대로인데요. 그 소보로빵 제가 좋아하는 이유가 그거거든요. 그 빵에 붙어있는 그 굴뚱한 알맹이들 있잖아요. 난 솔직히 그게 제일 맛있는 것 같거든요. 그거랑 해가지고. 근데 옛날 같지가 않아, 그 알맹이가. 나 진짜 메론빵 먹고 있는데 구경할래요? 캠 켜줄까? 음. 아, 좀 불러왔다. 진행할게요. 아, 메론빵 맛있다.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
왼쪽으로 들어갔구나.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
근데 무슨 회사야? 뭐 물류 창고 정리하는 회사야? 거짓말하지 마세요. 만약 지금 거짓말하고 있다면 당장 멈추시오. 멈출 수 있게 그러면은 문 좀 열어줄래요? 따라다라 따라다라다라. 자, 가보자. 카드? 야, 나 이 회사 사원인데 사원증도 없어? 자, 경고문. 화물 승강기가 움직이는 동안 뛰지 마시오. 사망에 이를 수 있습니다. 화물 승강기 오용 시 1000달러. 승강기에서 뛰어낼 시 5000달러? 뭐 반응하는 게 없어. 아무리 봐도 이걸 이쪽? 이야.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
참을 수가 없었어요. 미안해요. 참을 수가 없었어요. 미안해요. 참을 수가 없었어요. 뛰어내리고 싶었어.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
이거
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
계속 건드려보자. 매사 똑같이 하나 보자 너.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
다시 가자. 뭐가 수신됐다는 거야? 뭐야? 야, 나 못 눌렀는데 이거 반응한 거야. 아, 이거 조준점도 안 보이니까 모르겠네?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
뭐 말 좀 들을까요? 어떻게 할까요? 말 좀 들어줄까?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he should stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes. This room.
게임은 그저
What a
깨닫는
beautiful room. What a gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
빠바바바바. 나가자.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
알았어.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are
되네,
you
이게?
convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Give me a chance. Nope. 모든 것이 위험합니다. 아 근데 솔직히 말해서 그거 떨어지는 거 저 죽는 판정으로 넘어갈 줄 알았거든요? 안 죽네? 그리고 공포게임처럼 바뀌었어요. 분위기가 공포게임 같아요.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
빨간 혹시 그거 옛날 영화인데요. 요즘에 이제 버튜브 하시는 분들한테도 쓰이는 용어 중 하나인데 그 빨간 약이랑 빨간 약인가? 빨간 약이라 그래가지고 버튜브 세계의 모습이 아닌 현실 세계에 있는 모습을 보여주는 우리 그 빨간 약이라 그러거든요.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
아, 난 빨간색.
Fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
그렇구나. 드디어 너가 그러니까 나의 의도를 파악했구나. 오케이. 가자.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place.
만들다 말하다고.
Rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
뭐야? 여기 들어갈래. 10억! No! No! 야, 문 열어! 아버지! 야, 이건 내가 생각도 못했다.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical...
당신의 경험에 대한 평가를 남겨주세요. 뭔 소리야? 나 아직 안 했어, 이 새끼야.
I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
세계 경제표. 알고 계신가요? 플레이어 중 21%만이 인트로를 스킵하는 것을. 플레이어 중 최악이 3%만 파란문을 선택했다는 것을. 당신은 얼마나 걸리셨나요? 그러니까 지금 나보고 최악이라고 말하는 거지? 이 새끼 지금 나한테. 당신의 객관적인 순위입니다. 전 세계 9,328명의 플레이어 중. 그러니까 이 새끼 지금 나 까내리고 있는 거지? 이 새끼 지금 나. 그래, 왼손으로 왼쪽으로 가줄게.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
나 아직 많이 없다고.
I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. Hey! In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
나 이거. 시끄러워. 죄송해요. 이러고만 있는 거야? 그냥 태워 죽여. 에? 알았어.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
나 이 게임에서 로딩 몇 번 누르는 걸까? 우와.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity.
다른 장르를 만들고.
I love everything about this game, Stanley.
Stanley, I'm so sorry.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
10%만 줄일게요.
And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
내가 왜 나가? 자, 남은 메론빵 잠깐 조금만 먹어볼까? 야, 이것도 반응하나 보자. 제가 한 번도 어디서 주먹질하거나 이렇게 싸워본 적은 별로 없거든요? 어디 한번 게임이랑 한번 싸워보자. 프로그램으로 조작된 싸움 한번 해보자. 알았어, 나갈게. 내려가는 계단이 아래에 있네? 짜라짜라짜짜짜.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
내가 길 따라 가겠어?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
What the?
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a...
달릴걸!
You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
어떻게... 야! What the fuck?
See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes.
이거 마크 어디서 많이 본 마크들인데?
Here's the ball. Have
어디서 많이 본 거지? 아, 열심히 놀아. 야, 이게 미국에 있는 음료수 그런 건가 봐요. 네, 네. 왜요? 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 왜 그러세요? 게임 소리가 너무 커요? 방금 쇼츠 넘기다가 방금 전에 말한 내용이 나오고. 아, 진짜로? 마라탕? 그거? 그거? 한 달 내내 마라탕 먹으면서 죽은 사람 그거? 그 쇼츠 영상이었어? 이상하다. 나는 말로만 얘기했는데 알고리즘으로 그걸 어떻게 떴지? 뭐야, 여기 뭐야? 이속 빠르다. 오. 차 끌고 와요? 아니요, 딱 봐도 저거 가운데 있는 공건들이라는 거잖아요. 내가 지금 이 악물고 안 건들고 있는 거잖아요. 중국의 어떤 여성분이 매운 걸 좋아하셔서 매일 마라탕, 매운 걸 먹어서 그런 거구나, 그러면. 뭐야, 이거. 그럼 매운 거 너무 많이 먹었고 위에 구멍 나서 그런 거 아니에요, 그러면? 내용이 그런 거 같은데? 복통이 와서 의사한테 진료를 받았는데 매운 걸 자제하라고 했대요. 그러겠죠. 매운 거 많이 먹으면 위에 구멍 뚫린다고 하잖아요. 근데 아파서 살 빠지는 게 좋다고 매일 먹어. 이건 미련한 거 아니야? 그래서 그러다가 화장실에서 볼일 보다가 쓰러져서 병원을 갔는데 결장한 말기에 간이 전식도 얼마 못 가서. 그러면 뭐야? 그러니까 마라탕 때문에 죽은 게 아니라 애초부터 질병이었던 암이 있으셨는데, 그러니까 그걸 몰랐다는 거잖아. 결국엔 마라탕 때문에 죽은 건 아니잖아요.
Hold on. What are you doing?
베타에
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
와우!
Write a story without me. You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. We still have...
와, 내 세상이다. 잠깐만, 낭 떨어졌어? What the fuck? 이거 보이세요, 혹시? 이거 감마를 좀 높여야 될 것 같은데? 소화기 암인 대장암 음식으로 인한 발병이 높다고 하네요. 그러면 진짜 마라탕만 먹다 보니까 그렇게 된 거야? 예. 뭐 신기하긴 하네요. 반대로 말하면 안타까운 일이긴 합니다. 예, 결국엔 음식으로 인해서 사람이 이제 잘못돼서 그렇게 된 거니까. 뭔가 무서워요. 근데 뭔가 무서워요. 무서워요. 나레이션 아저씨. 저기로 가야 되는 것 같은데 아무리 봐도. 이거 음향기기 아니야? 이거 프리미엄 프로 아니야? 이거 영상 편집. 응? 뭐야? 아니 반응하는 게 없어. 뭐야?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
음악이 살짝 다운됐거든요.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
목소리 다운됐네. 말 안 들어서. 그런 것 같기도 해요.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office.
하나 말
Didn't make
들어주자.
a single difference. Nor did it advance the story.
무슨 소리. 아까 전에 모든 경우에서 다 안 해봤잖아요 지금. 얘 사무실 컴퓨터로 게임하는 것 같은데 이거 옛날에 그 기억나요? 윈도우 98에 있었던 그 포커 게임 알아요? 그 숫자 맞추는 거? 지금도 있나? 아무튼 그거 아니야 이거? 아무튼 근데 게임 부금이 살짝 무서워졌어요 지금.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
기다려봐요. 대신 빠르게 진행을 해드릴게요.
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
기다려봐요.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been
이번엔 저기로 가볼 거라고.
all this time. There's someone...
이번엔 저기로 갈 거야. 빨리 가라. 빨리 가라 나레이션. 나 말했다. 빨리 가라고 말했다. 나 뛰어내린다. 나 뛰어내린다. 빨리 움직여라. 빨리 움직여라.
I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
한 번 오면 여긴 끝인가 보네. 여기요? 어? 게임 속에 나는 여자친구가 있나? 나의 연인이 있나? 뭔가 도전 과제가 달성됐대요. 뭐야? 싫어요. 어두워서 싫어요. 문 열어. 이 상태에서 뛰어내리면 어떻게 될까요? 여기서도 뭐 하는 거냐고 아까 전에 뛰어내렸으라 똑같이 반응할까요? 자, 선택하세요. 검색문으로 들어갈까요? 죽었을 때 반응을 볼까요? 죽겠지. 그러니까 죽는 건 똑같은데 이 죽었을 때 대사가 다르냐는 거죠. 이제 아까 전에 저기서 떨어졌을 때 뭐 하는 거냐고 하면서 다시 처음부터 시작을 하느냐, 아니면은 이제 여기서 와서 왜 다시 돌아가서 죽냐 하면서 이제 반응을 하냐. 확인해 볼까요? 어라? 지금 저기에 검은색 들어가는 문 궁금하면 떨어지세요. 그렇지! 역시 궁금한 건 못 참아.
In his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and
똑같네.
plunged to his death.
대사가
Good
똑같네.
job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
자, 가자.
Workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
알아요. 자, 갑시다.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
안 들어가 보면.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
근데 사실 이쪽으로 안 가기도 했거든요. 이쪽으로 안 가보긴 했어요. 하지만 여기 먼저 하기로 한 다음에 저쪽으로 갈 거예요.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley,
그리고 솔직히
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
이쪽에 들어갔을 때도 좀 더 보고 싶거든요. 근데 여기는 뭔가 너무 심화 과정이 많은 것
Someone
같아.
else can be difficult.
여긴 너무 심화 과정이 많아.
The story has been about nothing but you all this time.
그,
Someone you've been
Stanley?
neglecting, Stanley.
내가 말할 때는 좀 조용히 좀 해줘봐.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that?
진짜 빠질 줄 몰랐어요. 이건 진짜 몰랐어.
I didn't even know that was
진짜 몰랐어요.
Let me double check.
아니, 난 진짜 몰랐어.
It's definitely here.
진짜 몰랐어.
Thursday. Stanley
이건 반응 안 하겠지 했는데.
He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action.
아니, 빠질 줄 몰랐다니까?
None of these decisions were supposed to
아니, 빠질 줄 몰랐다고. 알았으면 나도 안 뺐지.
making meaningful choices. What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world.
갑자기 궁금했는데요. 여기서 다시 그냥 시작해버리면 어떻게 반응할까요? 이것까지 게임이 반응하게 돼 있을까요? 아니겠지? 그것까지는 아니겠죠? 이렇게까지는 안 했겠지? 그렇게 치밀하게 해두진 않았겠지? 진짜 그렇게까지 치밀하게 해두진 않았겠지? 이것까지 반응하면 진짜 이거 게임이 진짜 치밀했던 거거든요? 진짜 세세하게 언더테일 장르가 되죠. 언더테일? 근데 충분히 적용할 만하죠. 그러니까. 근데 솔직히 이것도 다 보면 어떻게 되는지 궁금하긴 한데 지금 본지 얼마 안 됐을 때 이렇게 넘기는 거예요. 해보자. 방금 전에도 말 걸었잖아요. 방금 전 부분에서도 나레이션이
Co-workers were gone.
잠깐만. 이걸 눈치챘어야 됐는데 당신은 스탠리가 아니라 진짜 사람이군요 하면서 말했잖아요. 아까 전에. 너 플레이어구나 하면서. 아까 전에 그렇게 반응했잖아요. 너 스탠리가 아니구나
Came to a
하면서.
set of two open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room?
아니
A
왠지
connection
궁금하네.
between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, deeply.
혹시 알아요? 지금 나레이션 돼서 달라진 거? 지금 나레이션 돼서 달라진 거 알아요? 지금? 그래가지고
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, but eager to get back to business,
알았어
took the
진행해보자.
first open door on his left.
하지만 일단 제
Stanley was
궁금증부터.
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
나 자꾸 그러면 저기로 안 들어가고 일로 들어간다.
I think perhaps we
나 여기 간다.
wrong foot.
여기 들어가면 내가 무슨 짓을 할지 몰라.
Really, I'm not.
여기 들어가서 내가 몇 시간을 보낼지 몰라요.
Someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
전화선은 이번엔 안 뽑아볼게. 대신 전화를 안 받을게. 어디 한번 이 게임을 좀 많이 실험해 볼까? 이 게임이 어디까지 반응을 하나? 좀 얘기 좀 할까요? 전화벨 소리 그거의 반응에 대해서. 그래 봤자 여기까진 반응 없는 것 같네요.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay.
안 움직여요.
All right, now.
이
I
새끼.
want you to come in and tell me all about your...
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
알고 있어.
Life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
아, 닥쳐.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
저 팔이
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
좋은 아침입니다. 컨트롤러에서 6을 누르세요. 싫어요.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
안 누르고 있어 볼까? 우리 이 새끼 시장 개 삐져가지고 지금 말 안 들어주니까 개 삐져가지고 지금 눌러줄 때까지 땡깡 부리고 있는 담비거든요 지금 이거? 어? 지금? 딱 봐도 그러잖아. 아까 전에 전화선을 뽑았어야 됐어 내가. 아이씨 그냥 전화선 뽑아버릴걸. 아 좀 이따
But in
보자.
his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic
너
adventures.
딱대.
From behind his desk,
내가 좀 이따
Stanley
전화선
wild
뽑아줄게.
expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
TV? 여기 TV가 없는데 이걸 여기 이거야?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
아이들과 시간을 보내려면 A를 누르세요.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
얘가 스스로 스탠리 패러블이라고 그러지 않았어요?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
이거 아까 전에
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
이거 누르지 말라 그랬죠? 근데 눌러.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
야, 이거 나레이션 개 삐졌나 본데요? 진짜로?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
뭐야? 뭐지?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers.
야, 이번에도 안 가면은 개 삐질 것 같은데 어떡하죠?
Guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
내가 그쪽으로 갈 것 같아, 이 새끼야?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
넌 뒤졌다. 내가 좀 이따가 그 전화선 다시 뽑아버린다, 너. 딱 돼.
Just to admire it.
딱 돼.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile. At last, proof that he was human.
나레이션도 뭔가 살짝 잔인하게 바뀐 것 같은데.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
자, 아까 좀 이따가 그 선택에 따른
Perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong
그
foot.
영상을 한번 봐봅시다.
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but
사실 마음 같아선 저기로 들어가서
been about nothing
막
but
찾아서
you
돌아다니고
all
싶어요.
this time.
근데
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
다른 것부터
Someone you've
봅시다.
forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let
나는
her
그냥
back
듣겠어.
into your life.
뭔 소리예요?
She's been waiting.
왜 누워? 계속 보란 말이야.
That's her, Stanley. You
맞춰.
No, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check.
근데 이번에는 반응이 빨라요.
Clear as day.
아까 전에는 정확하게 얘기하다가
Finds his wife.
이번에는
Pledged
그 뭐야
themselves to one another.
갑자기 안돼 이러면서 이제 말려요.
Roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even
그래서
possible?
제가 아까 말했죠.
None of these decisions.
언더테일이라처럼 제3의 벽을 여기서 깬다고.
How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
그쵸?
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in
영상이
the
좀 기네요.
infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
깜짝이야.
Back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
이거 뭐라고 적혀 있는 거야? 멈춰, 멈춰로 해놓은 거야?
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just
그래서 이걸
as possible before the narrative contradiction.
이거 왜 있나 했더니만
Unfortunately, it seems
개새끼.
this is not well equipped to deal with reality. Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
얘 그러니까 지금 계속 왼쪽 문으로 가라고 난리치는 거지 이거 지금. 그렇지? 야 지금 왼쪽 문으로 가라고 난리치는 거잖아.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
바뀌었는데. 좀 깨졌네, 게임이? 오. 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 아, 왼쪽으로 가줘야 되나? 나에게 도루마무가 있긴 한데. 아, 나한테 도루마무가 있긴 한데. 아, 왼쪽으로 가줘야 되나? 내가 왼손잡이기도 한데. 좀 가치라고 궁금하다고 조금. 근데 지금 오른쪽을 다 확인 안 했잖아. 오른쪽을 다 핥아본 다음에 그 다음에 왼쪽으로 가야죠. 아니, 왼쪽 요플레와 오른쪽 요플레가 있는데 오른쪽 요플레를 먼저 집어가지고 먹다가 말고 왜 왼쪽 걸 먹냐고. 오른쪽 걸 다 먹은 다음에 왼쪽 걸 먹어야지. 아니지, 말 잘 듣게 더 빨리 끝. 말 잘.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
뭐야? 야! 야! 얘 뭐가 지나가지 않았어?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are.
Ooh.
My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story.
뭐야, 나 어리다고.
If you'd
뭐야?
just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it.
아가세요?
Victorious.
아니요.
It would have been so perfect. I worked
나이 먹을 만큼
tried
먹었는데.
so hard to make
뭐고?
behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. behave exactly as Stanley would.
어?
That means choosing
무한 루프니?
and always
어?
putting the story.
어?
Quite sure you'll be up to the
어디 몇 번 하면 게임이 튕길까 우리 확인해 볼까요?
When Stanley came to
우리가 내가 이걸 몇 번에만 이 새끼가 삐져가지고.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly.
문 열어라.
Always putting.
문 열어라. 나 말했다. 문 열라 했다.
Be up to the task.
나 말했다. 문 열라고 말했다.
All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he
난다레이션.
entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would.
아 이거 몇 번 하면 반응할까요?
Responsibly and always putting the story first.
그냥 반복
I'm
같은데.
quite sure you'll be up
제가
to
총 3번 했죠.
Just follow my lead and you'll be
원래
fine.
10번 찍어서 안 넘어가는 나무 없다 그랬거든요.
To a set of two open
딱
doors,
7번만 합시다.
entered the door on his left.
7번만 합시다.
No! Why did you do
6번이에요.
Quickly, hurry back.
이제 6번이에요.
Behave exactly as Stanley would.
여기까지 하면 5번 했죠.
Responsibly and always
그냥 넘어갈까?
putting the story first.
일로 가줄까?
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
아 10번 정도 해보고 싶긴 한데 알았어. 왼쪽 가줄게요. 그래. 왼쪽으로 가줄게. 아 여기가 원래 여기구나. 이렇게 생긴
There
데구나.
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
동료와의 분쟁을 해결하는 방법. 속으로 욕하고 다니가. 슬라이드로 모든 게 단조롭다는 걸 직원에게 확산시켜라. 모든 슬라이드 제목은 번들거리는 파란 그래픽을 입히고. 모두 같은 데라면 나 특히 땅쓰니. 예언 뭐야. 슬라이드의 개수, 슬라이드 차트, 슬라이드와 차트. 무료 게임 수익화. 나를 도와주고 있는 호스팅. 아, 도루마무에서 다시 왼쪽으로 다시 오른쪽으로 간 다음에 어떻게 생각해요? 오른쪽으로 간 다음에 이제 다시 또 아래로 떨어지는
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
왼쪽
boss's
스토리는
office.
한번 다 봐봐요. 아 그러자고? 일단 진행을 하자. 오케이 알았어. 여기 문 안 닫히네? 근데 이런 통로들 있잖아요. 이런 거 생각외로 많거든요. 우리나라에도. 어렸을 때 저 이런데 무서워했어요. 여기 소리가 좀 웅웅거려가지고 어렸을 때 좀 무서운 분위기를 좀 띄웠어. 어렸을 때는. 지금은 별로 그렇진 않은데 옛날에 좀 무서웠어요.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
이거 내가 마이크로 말해야 되는 거예요? 115라고 내가 말을 해야 돼?
Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115.
Nightshark 115라고 내가 특성으로 말해야 돼? Nightshark? Nightshark 115?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
저기 내 마이크 인식이 안 되잖아요.
Okay, fine, you're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
엔딩 떴어.
Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important.
말 존나 안 들었다가.
The story needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right.
울겠다.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
네, 스탠리 파라블. 녹화 한번 끊었다 갈까요? 아니면 계속 진행할까?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
왜 이렇게 됐지? 응? 잠깐, 길도 달라졌는데? 아닌가? 길이 원래 이랬나?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
아이, 잠깐만. 자연스럽게 나도 모르고 오른쪽으로 갈 뻔했어. 네. 왼쪽으로 가줘요? 네, 왼쪽으로 들어가줘요? 이쪽으로? 한번 내 맘대로 해서 엔딩 한번 봤으니까 좀 진행 좀 할까요? 네, 알았어요. 그러면 녹화 한번 끊었다 갈게요.